recording this session. There we go. We have our answer. So once again, welcome everyone to Soul School Network. My name is Greg, and I'll be hosting this with the side name of Susan on my computer. Today, our topic is about free will, and we'll get more into that momentarily. But we'd like to just begin by getting everyone sort of in the spirit of things. Let's all ground ourselves. Koryanka is here. She is one of the facilitators for Soul School Network and one of the founders, and she will walk us through a grounding meditation. So, Koryanka, please share with us.
Let's start by closing our eyes or softening up our gaze. And we are going to now pay attention to our breathing. We're going to take 3 deep, relaxing breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth, in through the nose, out through the mouth. And one more time. We'll start scanning our bodies for any tension there might be, starting at the head. We'll do this together. We'll just observe. We're not going to make any judgment about any tension we might find. Scan the crown of your head. The back of your head. Your face. And neck. Your shoulders too. One arm and then the other. Make sure you scan your hands as well. Now your back. From the neck all the way down to the final bone of the spine. You can focus your attention now on your chest and your abdomen.
Jesus.
Are there any sensations so far? Any muscle tension? Just observe it for now. Continue scanning. Now your right leg and foot and your left leg and foot. Wherever you found tension, let it go gently by visualizing that it is a white cloud that slides down your body all the way down to your feet, leaving your body through the soles of the feet. Perhaps there will be many clouds of tension leaving your body. And that's great. We're letting them go. You can feel good about it. Once tension is out of your body, it will be gone and transformed into life-giving energy. Let's take a deep, relaxing breath. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Let it feel good. You can stretch your body and make sure you are comfortable wherever you are. You are a beloved child of the earth, deeply connected to her. Notice how your feet are planted on the ground, either physically or energetically at all times, feeling the earth with the soles of your feet. Feel how your energy grows and expands itself from the soles of your feet towards Mother Earth. You are growing energetic roots that go into the moist, rich soil under your feet, uniting you with the Mother, receiving nourishment and love from her. The more your roots extend and go deeper and deeper into the earth, the more you feel deeply grounded and held in love by Mother Earth. Stay present in this moment. You can feel it. Remain grounded and present in this moment. Grounded and present. Grounded and present. You can gently go back to your breathing, in through the nose, out through the mouth. In through the nose, out through the mouth. And one more time. Now you can slowly open your eyes when it feels good to you and move your body slowly as you come back.
Thank you, Koryanka. I am suddenly not hearing anything, but can everyone hear me? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Wonderful. Welcome back. That was really wonderful. We're having a panic fits here with no electricity, so grounding us is a good thing. Uh, Much appreciated. So today, our subject matter is free will, and this was a subject that came to us through a couple of our sort of longtime members, people who are really part of the family here, Michelle and Silesia. It's my understanding that you were in a sort of had a discussion with Susan about this subject, and whether free will is something that we have, something maybe that we believe we have, but really don't, um, or something that we simply do not have at all. And so this is, I think, as mentioned earlier by Stefan, this is a wide open topic, something that you know the, people will all have their own personal opinions on, but it would be really nice to sort of get into this discussion. Perhaps Michelle and Silesia, you could bring us into your conversation a little bit. Uh, what is it about free will that interests you in the subject, and what are your feelings on uh, what it means, particularly after all that you've read and researched?
Well, Well, Silesian and I got into a discussion about whether it's possible to have free will in this world because of all the external intrusions and like for example frequencies, negative entities, um, and she believes I don't know, I don't want to speak for you, Silesia, that I believe, I'll just say what I believe. I think that we all have a choice. Um, if we choose, like these thoughts that come in, we can choose which ones to act on and which ones to take into heart, I should say. And those the negative ones, just like discard them or not let them, influence our decisions, our personality, or who we are. And I believe that consciousness supersedes everything. So I think that everyone is capable at least of making or of free will and to make those decisions based on their own of who they are. Like it reflects who they are, which thoughts and which what their intentions are and what they choose to be in this lifetime. And Celicia, I'll let you explain your
Alternative perspective, if you will. Yeah.
yes, what you were saying when had that discussion. You're muted.
You're
You're muted.
just keeping it a surprise.
I guess, how are we defining free will? Is it where we have we first have to talk about choices. So are we saying we're in a rat cage and you're free to do whatever you like in the rat cage, or you have a full canvas available to you and you can move about freely? If I have a rat cage and I put a wheel in there and a bowl of food, and I put a water bottle and I say, okay, rat, you can do whatever you like in this cage. But meanwhile, there's rats out in the wild. They're free to roam the earth, eat what they want to eat, go where they want to go, do what they want to do. So the first thing is about choice. In my particular situation, I have a pre-birth memory of going from maybe having access to all awareness or all consciousness or maybe all experience to being very limited, having my memories wiped and being pinned down to having a certain identity here on earth. And so when I'm here moving around earth, I'm kind of limited by um, this environment. So do I feel like I have free will? No, coming from a place or a state of being where I had available to me whatever I wanted, um, where coming from that, coming to here, where I'm limited by a body, I'm limited by hunger, I'm limited by the government, I'm limited by sleep cycles, I'm limited by this, I'm limited by that. There's other people who would say, well, what are you talking about? You know, the world is your oyster. You can do whatever you put your mind to on earth. But from my point of view, when your choices are limited, then your freedom is limited, if that's what you mean by when you say free will.
Yeah.
If I may,
Yeah, please.
if I may, I often like to look up the word to see what the word means and where the word comes from, and then build from there because the subjectivity of what we think it is, then it makes it more, it makes it broad, and then we fall off the edge in a way. So I got to meet two meanings here. Made or done freely or of one's own accord, voluntarily. The second one is a little more interesting, and it delves into that it'll be food for thought and emotion for us. Of or relating to the metaphysical doctrine of the freedom of the will. Now, from here, it's not talking about choices or any of those things or our social confines or anything like that. What it's talking about is the metaphysical. This is the non-physical, the world within us, our spiritual aspirations, our intellectual expansions. It's not talking about the box or the rat race or the cage or any of that. It's talking about where we're at within ourselves. And the example that came to me right away was a guy who's doing 30 years in jail. And he says, you got my body, but you don't have my soul. You don't have my mind. You see? So are we going to confine ourselves to confirmation bias, what we think something is, and then we confirm it? Or I like to blow the box away. Let's explore, but we have a basis to begin from. And it sounds nothing like a cage. It sounds very, very expansive. Freedom of the will. Where do I want my thoughts to go? How do I want my emotions to unfold? Nobody can restrain that. And if a jail can't do it, then I shouldn't to myself.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Exactly
really
that.
interesting. Go ahead.
I guess it's freedom on different levels. I mean, there's freedom, your soul, which is if you cage something could still feel like they have agency in how they think and feel. But then there's a physical freedom, which I'm not sure if that should be discounted or not.
Mhm. That's really interesting, yeah. Because you can be in a video game and you're restricted to what the parameters of the programmers created. In a way, what you're saying, Silesia, is that that there's something else out there that is bigger, that is a much larger sort of free place to be on a soul level. And this is really, in a sense, being put into a prison of a certain type. But then, are you trapped in that? Stefan makes a really great point about freedom is in the mind, and a way of thinking. Um, John, do you have anything you want to share with us about this? Because you've shared many times some interesting perspectives on the way we should see life.
Who are you talking to me?
Yes,
Oh,
I'm
me.
just throwing
Okay. Well,
Yeah, you,
on
John.
the fire.
yeah, no problem. I was prepared to talk more about consciousness, but there and consciousness and free will, which is different from freedom, is intertwined. And my perspective is aligned with a guy named Federico Fagan, who is a physicist and went in the 60s or 70s, went to work for Intel and created the first microchip. And subsequent to that, went on to set up his own company and invented the touchscreen on your phone. So this is all his organization, his thoughts. So well, and then he had everything. He had money, he had fame, he had family, but he wasn't happy. So he couldn't understand why he was not happy. And he went searching, and then of course that required a certain amount of soul searching. And one night when he got up to, let's say, have a drink of water, he had this experience. This beam of light came gushing out of his chest. This is a guy that invented the microchip. I mean, he's not some floozy guy, you know? And then he talks about it. He talks about it. And the way he understood it is that behind creativity, behind everything, there's a field. There's a field of energy, very subtle field of energy. And the two components, and it's made up of consciousness and free will. Now, why the two are part of this field that surrounds everything that has been created in the universe? And it's because through free will and consciousness, soul gets to know itself. And the idea is for soul to understand itself by making choices. And then he extends that. He says, because we're connected to the field and everything's interconnected, the universe is trying to understand itself through us by the experiences that we choose to have on the planet. So it's really interesting, you know, because from that point of view, this is what he said, and it's very interesting. So
Yeah.
we learn through free will and through our consciousness, we are able to connect that to a deeper level. And instead of looking at the cosmos as something that's inanimate, that just rocks and planets, now the idea comes that it is alive because that information is going somewhere. How's
Interesting.
that?
And John, does that, in that sense, Salisha talked about how we were placed here in a sense, or that she feels that she was sort of placed here, memories wiped, and given an
Mhm.
opportunity to
Yeah.
experience life in this kind of
Yeah.
cage, if you will, with the parameters of
Yeah.
living on the planet. Do you
Okay.
see that fits in with that, or do you see it differently?
Yeah, now I go back to, my membership in Eckankar, which is the science of soul travel. And from that point of view, we are soul first, and we come to this earth to incarnate the body, to learn something about ourselves. And in that case, from a soul point of view, then you have these pre-life memories and that come with you, that don't necessarily come with you, but are there, and you can access those types of memories by accessing the different planes that soul travels through in order to incarnate the body. So that's different perspective. But the
Yeah,
idea
but
is that you're here to learn something about, soul is here to learn something about itself. So it can find its way back, to God.
right. So Alicia really, you is in a way her vision of what's happened to her and why she's here fits with what you're saying in terms of and she has some of those pre-memories where most of us do not. So that's
Mhm.
interesting.
Mhm.
Michael, I think you put your hand up. Would you like to weigh in on this discussion?
Yeah, thanks. Thanks, Greg. So, because of the electricity being out, I have to use my phone. And having to use my phone, I grabbed a book to put my phone on so it was elevated somewhat. What did I grab? Dancing in Hell with Eyes Wide Open. Catch
Ooh.
that. Dancing in Hell with
Ooh.
Eyes Wide Open. And the
Boy.
subtitle is How to Survive the New World Order. Okay? And the book is dedicated to humanity with an Inca cross in the middle in the middle of the book, there's the Inca cross. And so the author, Sergei Baranov, came to Peru, and he had quite an experience. Chapter 1, reclaim your mind from fear, brainwashing, and propaganda. There you go. So what Silesia is talking about is this: fear, brainwashing, and propaganda, the limitations that she speaks of. Within the framework of those limitations, I maintain free will, because it is in essence a soul journey. Because I'm really a spiritual being having a physical experience. Why the physical experience? John hit the nail on the head. To learn, to grow, and to make your soul stronger and be in a position, because all of us are on the return. We're on the return to the source. And we came from the source, spit out for the experience of the one, of all that is, to experience through us what it means to be on the Mother Earth for your experience, your soul experience. But your soul experiences other realms, other dimensions, and they come into your subconscious. And therefore, what Silesia is talking about in terms of her own experience is likely the same experience we all had. You're going to hell, but we're going to teach you how to dance. That's the critical feature, is learning how to dance with eyes wide open. What a beautiful title. I can't believe it. And the fact that I grabbed that book right off the shelf and stuck it in front of me.
Coincidence?
I never would have. I'm sorry? What?
Coincidence? Coincidence?
Yeah, coincidence.
Is there such a thing?
Yeah. And the sequel to this book, this is a sequel to The Cactus of Sanity, Wachuma in the Time of Chaos. So, he's talking about plant medicine and how that plant medicine opened up his vision, because here it is, vision. What do you see? Are your eyes wide open? And this becomes the critical feature in the undertaking, in the existence of life. All around us, what we're hearing right now is insanity. It's insane. There's just no other way to describe leadership in the world, the way people talk, leaders and how they relate to humanity is insane. It's not sanity. It is fueled by an agenda. And that agenda is what Silesia is talking about. She's talking about the limitations. She's talking about how, in essence, we live in a matrix. And it's a rat race. It's a rat race. And she's bang on. She's bang on, because if you want to go to New York City and then just sit on a street corner and watch it, you're going to see a rat race. You're going to see people hurrying and scurrying and having no idea of what we're talking about here in terms of soul, because they have bought in. Their eyes are not wide open. Their consciousness is shut down because they bought in to the brainwashing, the propaganda, all of that stuff. They bought into it because they've been told this is the way to be happy, which is bogus. The only way you can be happy is if you are knowing that you're here to make a union with your soul. This is the only way that happiness is going to emerge. Look at the physical body. Look at the human physical body and contemplate the chakra system. It's in existence in every human being. Contemplate the heart space. It's in existence in every human being. What happens is human beings end up in their head. They don't think through their heart. That is where the difficulty lies. So it's consciousness. And consciousness raising is an extremely important aspect of our existence, that we make a commitment, free will, through choice, make a commitment to have ourselves dig deeper into our inner being, taking advantage of the energy. This is what John hit on again. You know, the beam of light coming out of the chest, that's everybody. That's all of us. The question becomes, is it pure or is it staticky? Is it kind of, you know, not going full tilt there because we don't have full appreciation of our own power. We don't have full appreciation of our own being. And I say it often, humans are not human beings, they're human doings. And the only way to be a human being is to get yourself into the idea of beingness. And when you be, you is. Go ahead, Stefan.
First of all, whatever comes out of this mouth is not what I read, or not what somebody else said. It's what I've experienced as I applied to things and moved. And I take very special care on not trying to tell anybody else the way, because that's my trip. We all have to develop our own insights. And that means we realize it when we look inside and we connect the dots. When we follow somebody else, or somebody else is telling us this or that, then I don't know if we're dealing with any kind of freedom there. You have sheep, you have wolves. I'm just a bee floating around here. A couple of people alluded to some things, and in the Upanishads and the Bhagavad Gita, these things were written thousands of years ago. And it's not a religion, it's a blueprint for life, really. And in the beginning, it says, I am not what I see, I am not that I see. I am that by where I can see. And that is Brahman, and that is the eternal. In other words, it's not about me. It's not about the one note operatic. I bore myself when I start ranting the opera. Me, mine, I think. This is it. You know, it's not about me. It's about the interconnectivity. And John, you were referring to something, and the word came up, the infinite. The infinite. That's what we are. That's where we came from. But we get hooked up into the physical trip. I did. And it's easy. It's a default because the senses draw me outside. I listen. Now it's out there. The food is out there. I see something, I desire it. You know, it's all out there. But the trick is for me is they had the musk deer in Siberia. They call them the musk deer because they have this pouch inside of them that is a highly prized musk oil, that it is euphoric. I mean, it is very expensive and it transports you, this particular oil, this scent, right? In spring, the musk within them ignites and they become intoxicated and they run into tree. They're looking, they want to find out where this scent is coming from. They run into trees, they run over cliffs, they literally destroy themselves trying to get to this thing. And the moral of the story is they kill themselves trying to obtain what they already possess. And that's what I'm bringing it back around to. For me, having realized that. Now, I could still, but to stay on that note, to be on that note, to be able to be the watcher consciousness, to see and watch where my mind is going, to be consciously aware of my trip. My trip, we used to say in the hippie days, you know, what's your trip? You know, where you going? What are you about? You know, and to get out of the I thing and to get out of telling people what is, because I think I know. I don't know anything. And if you ask me what I am, I say I'm not I am. I am an unfolding. Unfolding. I don't want to walk out of this meetup the same way I walked in. That's boring. I want to walk out a little expanded. So we share from our hearts and our own experience, and not what somebody else said. Maybe our hearts can nourish each other's hearts, and we can become aware of the free will.
Yeah. Well, you're great to have here, Stefan. You've definitely helped see some, a more positive way of looking at things, but also a different perspective. And I like the idea of us leaving every one of these sessions a little bit different in the way we are. Um, I'll open the floor here. I was going to ask if anybody wants to. Oh, Sue, you want to jump in? Good stuff. I'll let you go ahead.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. Just loving this conversation. So insightful and helpful, I think. I just wanted to add to it that when I think about free will, this is all happening in the mind. And we know that this cycle on the planet is a mental experiment. And so what's happening in our mind is everything. And so really, do we have a free mind? And that's where we're speaking, I believe, about consciousness and the work we're doing to free up our mind. And so, our suffering with this attachment to self, this selfing, this I consciousness, it's our free will to do it. And I see that really free will could be like another word for playground. And we can do all sorts of things here, including, what was said already, getting to know ourselves so that despite the quote unquote limitations of the third dimension, that we are feeling our experience is one of freedom within that. This to me is like mastery of our human experience. And, I have a cousin. I just saw him Friday. He's having MAID tomorrow. He's dying and he's had enough of his suffering. And he's on his way out. And it's his free will. It's his free choice. This is his experience. And this is what he wants to make of it. And it's not for me to know. It's his soul's journey. And I only bring that up because that is, I said to him as I left that day, see you back at home. Because I think that's it. We're all out on an adventure on Mother Earth at the moment, and we get to see each other back at home base, where we're not living under these 48 cosmic laws, where we're not having the same, things we're up against. And so there's all these forces at work, and we can be victims to them, or we can rise above them through our spiritual practice, through our spiritual reading, so that we can actually feel free. And also, I just want to add, have compassion for the people whose eyes are wide shut. That's part of our freedom too, is not being bothered by them, feeling compassion for them, understanding we know what they're under, we're under it too. And we're here this morning talking about it because we seek to be more free, and we know what's in our minds. And so if we talk about it, if we commune with each other, collaborate and be in community and share, this is how we can regulate and grow ourselves and feel free. So there's my 2 cents. Thank you.
Sorry to hear about your cousin, Susan? Your cousin?
Yeah, my cousin. Yeah, my first cousin.
You said he was on
Yeah.
his way out. Something came to my heart. He's on his way in.
Thank
He's
you.
on his way out.
Thank
from
you.
this,
He's
this
on his
trip.
way home. He's on his way home.
You know what salvation means? I looked up salvation one day. It means going home.
There you go.
Salvation means going.
Love it.
In other words, we are where we came from in a way, in the deepest sense of the way. And then we get here, and then we get lost in this trip. So the less I'm into this trip, and the more time I cultivate my inner self, That's that when we're at that road where the saints come marching in, it should be like, hey, I'm not going to give them the instruments now. I'm not going to say, let's go. I want to have this experience. But when it's time, I'm not going to fight. I don't want to fight. I want to be like, okay, this is the next stage. But that means the only reason I would want to fight is because I didn't do what I could have did in this here setting of my life. So the inside is more important than the outside, I think. Our
Thank you for
consciousness,
adding that.
awareness.
Thank you. Yeah. You know, I wanted to add what you've brought to mind there is, yes, my cousin is on his way home. And my family was very sad, like, oh, you had to have this conversation with Larry. And I said, no, it was really great. And I can't tell you how good it felt leaving the room to say, see you at home, rather than like, oh my gosh, you're dying. I won't ever see you again. We had a very existential conversation. And I want to share this piece, though, that when he spoke to me about what his suffering is about right now, he's in his early 70s and he's having beautiful young nurses when he has, diarrhea and every other miserable thing that happens when you're bedridden. He has nurses cleaning him. They're beautiful young nurses, and he's mortified. And so imagine, though, the soul is still growing, the ego is still doing its work. There's still a process underway till, well, not till the last breath. It continues. It's just an ongoing process, whether he's in this third dimension or elsewhere. And so he's having the experience of pride and anger and all the ego work, that he's moving through, making choices. And so, but he was so at peace with his decision. That's my word for this year, peace. And that he was at peace brought me a lot of peace. And just want to say, I'm going to use that from now on with anyone who's dying to see at home, because it felt really good.
That's great. Thank you, Sue. Silesia, I think you were had your mic unmuted there for a moment. So I have a feeling you may want to weigh in on this again. Oh, and also Michelle. So maybe both of you.
Gosh, there's so many things I could say. It's hard to pick just one or two things. I guess since we're getting to the time, I guess my final thoughts are what I'm going to take away from this conversation is I have to make peace with being limited. And some of you said here that there's people in a rat race, or there's people that are limited and they don't know that they're limited. And I think some of those people are ignorance is bliss. They feel they have choices because they cannot see what they don't have. And I'm in the situation where I can see what I don't have. And that's very frustrating for me. But what I'm going to take away from some of the comments here is there could be a freedom in the prison, almost in a lack of choices. Also, freedom is in the mind, meaning, okay, how do I choose to think about this? I can have freedom. I could be in the prison and I could be happy. I could be sad. I could be frustrated. I could be inspired. I could start a group in the prison. I don't know. There's a choice in how to think about it, what perspective to take about that. Another one is there's freedom in knowing you will return back to your original self. So maybe you might be having a rotten time now, but enjoy it while you are experiencing it. You will go back to source and your original whole self. So just be in the moment, be mindful. One last thing I will share is I guess a visual that I see is Christopher Reeves, the actor who plays Superman. And I hear over and over how he just embodied a superhuman because he was muscular and good looking and he plays Superman. He was a movie star. And then unfortunately had this accident where like I think something with involving horses where he became paralyzed from the neck down. And I think he was speaking through a tube even. And his wife had to basically do everything for him in terms of basic functioning. But in his last years, he was traveling all over the world, speaking and doing research to figure out a way to walk again, figure out a way for others to walk again. And he was getting on planes. And it's like, well, how are you doing that? I think it was like speaking through a straw. I could be wrong about that. And I think to myself, he seemed more like Superman to me when he was in that state, rather than seeing the image of him flying on TV in the air with superhuman powers. I guess it's just a triumph of the spirit. Your spirit remains intact. Your wild horse spirit remains intact no matter what situation you are put in. And I think that's kind of a way we could say, yes, you do still have free will, even when your options are limited. And I'll just leave it at that.
I love
Yeah.
that. Your wild horse spirit. We all have that. Thank you, Alicia. That's really, really great sort of to tell the story of his story. Yeah, Superman was more of a Superman later on. Michelle, you wanted to throw in a few words as well before we wrap things up?
Just wanted to comment on what Susan was saying about having compassion for those who are still stuck in the matrix. I guess like I've always had the red pill in my system. I never took it because it's always been there. Never agreed with the consensus of this world. I never wanted or needed anything from it. So I had this little protective bubble around myself all these years to protect me from the worst of it. And when COVID happened, that bubble popped, and I was confronted with things I was not prepared for or ready for. And right now, like for the last while, actually, I've been just wanting to get back into that bubble and float away. And so I can understand, I've gained an understanding of why people want to stay in the matrix, what they want to stay attached to it. And just yesterday, I reconnected with an old friend, and it was just nice talking about movies again and music and pop culture stuff, the surface level stuff. It was like a weight was lifted off my shoulder, and like she's very much connected to the matrix. So it was just nice to have that kind of conversation again. And sometimes I just wonder if it's all worth it, if it's even worth elevating your consciousness when you're stuck in this kind of place where you're so limited, like Silesia was saying. But keep your mind, your mind is free. It's expanding. You can expand your mind while acknowledging that you are in a limited place. And I guess that's all I have to say about that. Like, it's just, I don't see, I just don't see what's the point of having expanded consciousness when you're stuck in a hell.
Right. And I think Michael seems to have an answer for that.
You just brought to mind the name of a film that is an exceptional film, and it was entitled "The Incredible Lightness of Being." The incredible lightness of being, and so this title of this book, "Dancing in Hell with Eyes Wide Open," is the answer to observation of still living in a limited undertaking. We're not. We're not living in a limited undertaking. We're living in a limited mind, not an undertaking. The only limitation is in your mind. And therefore, the concept of consciousness and free will are absolutely intertwined. And this idea that everything is outside of ourselves is bogus. It's not. Everything is inside us. All the answers are inside us. And therefore, the title, The Incredible Lightness of Being, is where the mind, if it is able to get to the understanding of what that means, what does it mean, the incredible lightness of being? And the idea of being is what we all are engaged in. So that's my take on it.
Just don't feel free.
Thank you.
here.
Okay, Greg, back to you.
I actually
Well,
wanted
Michelle, you were going to.
well, I just wanted to hear what what her view is about all this.
For me, it all goes back down to free will and consciousness. So at the beginning of times, before we are born, we do make an agreement with the divine about incarnating. And we are on board with which family we're going to have, in which city we're going to be born, and the kind of tests we're going to encounter in life, and what you call hell on earth. If you're going to have that kind of an experience, you kind of sign up for that. And then when we actually are born and start growing up and we become adults and we understand what is happening around us in our lives, we have forgotten by then that we made that agreement to come and experience all that. But then once again, we have free will to choose. Do we want to remain in that kind of hellish experience, or do we want to get out of that experience and have a different kind of experience, a better one for ourselves? And so, yet once again, we get to decide. And every second of our lives here on earth is a moment when we can decide it's enough of this. We want to find our way out and dance. I like that word that Michael used. We can really make something beautiful out of our own lives, and we can share the love and beauty and the magic and everything we're creating for ourselves with everybody else, with whoever is willing to also make the choice to have that kind of uplifted experience. So it's all about choice. And yes, it's very much in the mind. We make the decisions that will lead to what kind of life we have and how we experience this place, this place that we call Earth. Is it going to be this hell kind of an experience and we're going to be trapped in it? Or are we going to find freedom from within?
Wow. Thank you so much, Koryanka. And you grounded us when we started this, and now you're uplifting us as we wrap it up. So I think this is a great place to end this discussion. Of course, we can always take it offline as well and have discussions about this. So thank you, everyone. I'm going to ask.
I thought Stefan had something to say before.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Maybe he doesn't. I don't know.
Yeah, I would, yeah. Okay, there's a glass. Now we know the saying, is it half full or half empty? How are we looking at things? Right? So I'm putting a glass here right on the table, right? And you don't see anything in it. So you say, wow, it's empty. But my assertion is it's full. It's just translucent. We don't see it. And another thing is we speaking about the infinite and all of these things and consciousness, it lies within us. If we so choose to delve into the world within. They say the brain has more cells than there's stars in the universe. They have not been able to count them yet. That's how magnificent, our being. And the physical, they're talking about the brain. But now when you go and tap into the spiritual, the metaphysical, that has no boundaries. So there's a place outside of time and space within us that we can be and experience. And I invite you all in there because that place is outside of time and space, not affected by the president, not affected by anything. It's our inner world. And thank you for sharing this time because you've segued me into mine. And I wish to share with y'all, dispel the minefield of the mind and delve into the heart and the soul of our being.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much, Stefan.
Thank
Michael's
you.
clapping, and I think we all are. This was a really great discussion. Sue, would you like to sort of do the mantra of unification, just so we have something to reflect upon as we wrap up?
Will do. Thank you, Greg. The sons and daughters of men and women are one, and I am one with them. I seek to love, not hate. I seek to serve and not exact due service. I seek to heal, not hurt. Let pain bring due reward of light and love. Let the soul control the outer form and life and all events, and bring to light the love which underlies the happenings of the time. Let vision come and insight. Let the future stand revealed. Let inner union demonstrate and outer cleavages be gone. Let love prevail. Let all people love. Miigwech. Namaste. Amen. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. We'll be back in 2 weeks' time with a guest speaker, and you can find out who that's going to be on our website and Facebook page as well. And we also would like to thank our viewers on YouTube and ask anyone to give us a visit at our website, soulschoolnetwork.com, where you can see previous programs. And thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful day. Wonderful
Thank
Sunday.
you. Thanks, everybody. Nice to see you.
Thank you.
Much love. Take care. You look great, Silesia.
Yeah.
Glad you're doing well. Take care, everybody.
Peace be upon
Bye.
you all.
Thank you.